Hello, Steve.
Hello.
There's a question I think it is important. The result of exhibition and the book. It is the result of a great confidence between you and the artist, Prince.
Yes, yes.
How do you pick up among a mountain of photographs, portraits, the process of selection of photographies? How do you structure the work and the result of the work in exhibition and in the book?
I think with the book, I was partially trying to tell a bit of a story visually. So I wanted to show as much diversity as I possibly could. And then there were stories that went with some photos, but then other ones that are just random stories that don't have to do with the photos. So I had picked what I thought was a good look of the photos I had and sent it to the book company and said, I want you guys to pick. There's more than you need, but I want to see what you do with it, because for me, sometimes like your eye, you've seen something for a long time or you're not quite sure, and somebody else will have a different vision. And fortunately, Octopus, which is the book company, did a really good job of putting it all together. And only a couple photos, I was like, you know what, I'd rather have this photo than that photo, just a couple. And for the exhibition, this was through Iconic, who I've worked with, and so they knew my work, and they just said, well, you know, pick the ones you'd like to send. And again, I sort of did the same thing, like, okay, I will, but honestly, I'm going to send you more, because I want your vision too, because I feel like when someone puts an exhibition like this together, it's got its own style, its own look, and they have something they want to do with it, and I want to give them a little bit of room for interpretation as well, because I think that's important. Yeah.
Okay. You have a closer relation with Prince, so we have the myth, the legend. How it was the artist beyond the images we can see in flesh and bones, perhaps.
Sure. Well, he was a very hard worker, and this is something that I think a lot of people don't get. So when you're a musician or an actor, people think, oh, you go to parties and then you come and do your show and then you go party some more. He really wasn't like that. I mean, I'm not saying he wouldn't relax a little bit and things like that, or have people out to the studios, but realistically, he worked harder than most people would understand. And I think that that's something that a lot of people miss just because of the perception of a rock and roll musician. But he worked really, really hard. And I think it shows when you think about his performances. You know, he could jump up on a piano. He could jump off of a speaker. He could land in the splits. He could, all that stuff, and play as well as he did, and write all the music, and do all. So, really, I think the thing as a person, he was someone who worked really hard to be what he envisioned for himself. So he created his own world of being that person.
Beyond the persona, Prince is a normal guy. We can say that.
He could be now, and I say that because when you're that talented and when your brain is always working and creating and thinking, you're not. I wouldn't say that's like everybody, but he would also come in and we would talk about what's happening in the news. He would say, let's go see a movie. He would say, let's go bowling, things like that. So he definitely did some very normal things, except we were bowling at 2 o'clock in the morning instead of in the daytime. We're seeing a movie at 3 o'clock in the morning, things like that.
What would you say to people who are invited to visit your exhibition and perhaps buy your book?
Well, I hope that they learn through the photos. They learn a little more about Prince, that he enjoyed basketball, that he did get out into nature, that he wasn't always in the studio, and honestly that he's very compelling, in my opinion, to look at. Like, he has like a real connection, when you look at him. And I just hope they get a better sense of who he is. Yeah.
It was a pleasure, Steve.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Okay.